Orlando City.
It's a good one.
This will be a good talk. Um, Oscar Pereira comes back in and takes a team that was finished sixth in the West, sixth in the East last year. 51 points, even with Atlanta, who finished fourth, right? Fifth rather. So they were fighting. I think NYC had 52 points. So it was real tight in there. So six doesn't really speak to much, but a lot of players coming back and a lot of new players in as well. So you're looking at a back four that's relatively unchanged. Gallese, Ruan, Antonio Carlos, Janssen, and Matinho. And then as you move forward, it gets a little bit different. You've got either Mendez or Arujo at the CDM spot with Urso and Perea. Probably Mendez and Urso to start with those two switching in. Mauricio Pereira at the cam spot with new boy Facundo Torres on the left, Vanderwater on the right, and either new designated player Cara starting or the person who probably should be starting, Alexander Pato. There's a lot of turnover in that attacking lineup after losing basically their front three. What do you think about their window? Did they get better?
Yes, I do. I think they got better.
Why?
I think Facundo Torres has got the potential to be an MVP type player in this league. So I think that's fantastic. I know they lost Nani and Mueller, but I think he's a great guy to bring in there and fill at least one of those holes. And then Arujo is a little confusing, seeing as how they're just already so stacked in that position. But again, another high potential player that I guess because they're so stacked in that position, maybe there's less pressure to come in and perform immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, adding the depth there into competition will definitely help. And the back line pretty much stayed exactly the same. I think Kara striker is a good addition. I think that will help fill the DK hole a bit. Going through this, maybe not actually. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna change my mind and say that they didn't improve, but I don't think they got worse.
Correct. That's the right answer. I said that they got a wash. They brought in good players, but they brought in good players to replace good players, right? And we'll talk about it a little bit later, but completely brand new front three, right? That's kind of crazy. Players that they still need to improve. I'm not sold on Vanderwater being your starting right wing yet. Didn't get enough time last year for me to really love what he was doing. They did play more of a four center mid look last year, so they didn't really have a ton of wingers. I think Nani started up top a lot and kind of drifted out wide. You need some number 10 depth. You only got really one attacking mid who can do the job. So if he goes down, you guys are SOL. And then some left back depth. You've got two people who can play left back, and one of them is your starting center back.
Yeah, I feel like every season we come in talking about how Orlando needs left back depth, and they just never do
it. Fair.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, looking left back's definitely super, super thin. I think the wingers are very thin. I agree with you. I'm not sold on Vanderwater. And Torres is as much potential as he has, he's completely up in the air. We have no idea if he's going to perform well in this league. If that's the
Just
case,
like Insigne.
what'd you say?
Just like Insigne.
Yeah, exactly. And then outside of those two, it's just Benji Michel, who's the only other winger listed on this list.
Who's not bad.
No, he's definitely a great depth piece, but that's pretty thin. I mean, those are three guys right there.
Yep.
Unless they move someone else to the wing. But if it is like you say, and they're going to play four midfielders and not play with wingers, then that's not really a big deal then that they're lacking in wingers.
Right.
but it also kind of limits them because now they can't really change the shape if they do want to go with wingers because they're very thin there. So that's what I'll say. So pretty much in line with what you had mentioned.
Yeah, basically just taking all my ideas. I get it.
This time I stole your notes.
Best edition. Who you got?
Torres.
Yeah, me too. Immediate replacement for Nani or playing as a striker. You can do it both.
Yeah.
Biggest loss we got.
Probably Nani. Yeah. It's
That's funny.
what? Because
Go
I
on.
didn't say DK.
Go on. Finish your thoughts.
Nani was the face of the team. I honestly, he was like the heart and soul of that team. He was fantastic. He was way better in this league than I expected him to be, and was still playing super well even up to last season. So it was. I get it. I get moving on from him to bring in someone younger. I absolutely think that's the correct move, but you knew for a fact that Nani was a top player in this league, and Torres, the question is still up in the air. So I think losing Nani's gonna hurt. But they lost a bunch of good people. Like Mueller is definitely up there. DK's up there in terms of who they lost, but I'll go Nani.
The answer was DK, but you tried. And I find it funny because we had like a 30-minute argument over if Pepe or DK was the better player. You said DK was literally the best U22 player in the league and gave me all these stats and numbers. And you're going to say Nani is a bigger loss than him. That's silly.
Nani was a borderline MVP candidate.
No, he wasn't. Quiet down.
Nani's time here. You're going to tell me Nani was never borderline of an MVP candidate?
Not once.
Oh my, you're crazy.
Not once. Not once. And I'll sit down and look at the numbers after the episode, but not once. Was he borderline MVP, best 11? Maybe. MVP? You're bonkers. Player to watch 2022. I'll put it out there.
You gotta tell me why DK.
Oh, because he was their top goal scorer last year. He was a great presence in terms of size and athletic ability, and that's something you can't teach. You can't teach size. So that's going to be tough to replace. And I don't know what Kara looks like. I don't know what Erkan Kara looks like. But here's what I'll tell you. I did look up his picture the other day for the transfer post that we're going to make. This dude gives me such Zlatan vibes. It's unreal. Just looking at his face, he looks like he's about to walk in and be like, yeah, I'm the best player on this field, and you're going to deal with it.
Well, hopefully he could back it up.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd love that.
I mean, that's not a bad mentality to have. Back yourself, absolutely. Get that confidence.
Yeah, he has made his debut. He made 7 appearances for the Austrian national team. He is 1.92 meters tall, which in American is...
In American.
Yeah. 6'3.5".
That's pretty big. Coming from a short person himself. That's I'm not jealous.
You trying to fight?
Why am I trying to fight? No, I'm saying I'm calling myself short, not you.
Oh, I thought you were all right. Anyways. Player to watch for me is going to be Facundo Torres or Erkan Kara. Kaka. We're back in Orlando 2015 days. Erkan Kara. They've got to replace 29 goal contributions between Nani and DK. So they're going to have the ball if they want this team to be back where it was last year. What about you?
I'll go with the easy answer. Just say Torres. I think
he's taking the easy way out.
I think there's a lot of expectations on him to perform. So I'll be keeping an eye on him.
Okay. Big question. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, my question's kind of around our entire conversation that we've had.
Who's better, Nani or DK or Pepe?
No, my question is regarding how they're going to replace their front three from last season. How do they replace Mueller, DK?
Do you want to just take my notes, Connor? Is this?
Well, all right, fine. I'll do a different question then. Who starts in center mid for them? Because they have like 5 players that can do it.
Good. My question is, how are they going to replace their front three?
Oh, where'd you
Or-
come up with that one?
I came up with it 4 days ago when I was prepping this episode. Or really, the better question is, will they all be able to get firing from day one? How much time that it takes for them to gel together is probably going to decide if they're good or bad this year. Where do you got them finishing?
They'll definitely still be in the playoffs in my mind. I'm a little bit unsure as to where. I'd say I don't know if they're necessarily going to win the East. I'm kind of leaning towards like 2 through 5.
Yikes. I've got them 5 through 8.
Wow, I think you're underselling them.
I think that it's going to take a little bit of time for these guys to get working.
You say that about everybody. You're like, oh, anybody comes outside of the league, it's gonna take them 15 games to get used to it.
It took Bradley Wright Phillips has 100 and something goals in MLS, and his first season he was here, he scored 4.
Is that your standard? Just because BW
Bradley Wright Phillips is everybody's standard. How dare you disrespect the GOAT?
I think you're overselling that factor.
I'm going to fight you.
All right. Well, anyway, Orlando fans, you know where to direct your hate.